Guys, we're continuing our language arts lessons for this week. Don't rush everything. If I don't post the video, don't worry about doing the assignments. I'll get you caught up. I'm trying to space everything out so you don't get too stressed out or frustrated, and your parents don't get too stressed out and frustrated. So again, if I don't post a video, you don't have to complete any assignments. We're just taking this thing one day at a time. So a couple assignments here and there. If you haven't already done so, check out the Legends of Learning game. Seems pretty fun. If you can't figure out how to log in, Dojo Chat, messages, things like that. So just keep me in the loop if you get stuck, and I'll do my best to help you. All right, today's language arts is we are reading The Vegetable Thief, and we have 2 vocabulary words to do today. The vocabulary words are donated and plot. Both are some multiple meaning words. We have to use our context clue skills to figure out what these words mean in the passage. So for this assignment, you just need a writing tool. I don't have a highlighter, so I'm going to be using a color marker to be able to go back and underline where the words are if we find them, and so we can use our context clues to figure out what they actually mean. And we're going to go ahead and get started. Our passage is called The Vegetable Thief, and the photo says, "Produce from this grove will be donated to local food banks. Please no trespassing." All right. Someone has been stealing from the community garden. Mickey and Marnie want to find out who it is. Marnie and Mickey are brother and sisters. They live in Irvine, California, and volunteer at the community garden. Every day after school, they wash the squash and the lettuce. They work hard and watch the trees grow. The vegetables are donated to food banks so people don't go hungry. Today, the food started to disappear. Marnie is the first to notice. She starts to water the squash like she's always done. But instead of a plot of squash, there's only an empty hole. The squash, Marnie stammers. "The squash has been squashed," says Mickey. "We have to tell an adult." Across the field, they spot their neighbor, Hank. Hank is 80 years old and moving very slowly. Hank has trouble hearing. Hank, someone is stealing vegetables." I can't hear ya," he says, putting his hand to his ear. "Someone stole all the squash," says Marnie. Someone scalded the wash? There's a thief!" "I'm no chief," Hank says. "Now get back to work, ya slackers." "Hank can't hear a word we're saying," says Mickey. He kicks a rock with his foot. Thud. A small rabbit comes out from underneath some lettuce. The rabbit is rubbing his head. The rabbit gives them a mean look and then hops away. His white fluffy tail is shining in the sun. "If I didn't know better, I'd think that rabbit is mad at you," says Marnie. Marnie and Mickey walk away with their heads low. Missing squash and an angry rabbit? This day is going terribly. They get on their bikes and ride home along the bike path. The wind is in their hair and it feels like they are flying. For a moment, they forgot all about the missing vegetables. The sun is starting to set in the sky when they finally get back home. They are late for dinner. "I told you to be home at 5, Mom says. "But Mom, there's a thief at the garden. He stole our squash." "Missing squash, you say?" she says. "Well, wasn't the squash your responsibility?" I guess so," says Marnie. "It's our responsibility to water it." "Then it's your responsibility if someone steals it. It's also your responsibility to get home on time." Marnie looks down at her plate and lets out a large gasp. Her plate is filled with yellow squash. Mickey and Marnie look at each other. "You don't think Mom could be the squash thief, do you?" asks Marnie. "Geez, I sure hope not," says Mickey. There's so much squash on their plates they aren't sure what to believe. The next day they go back to the garden. Again, no one else is there except old Hank. This time there are 2 empty plots. Now all the broccoli is missing too. "This is outrageous," cries Marnie. "We are the only people who know this is happening, but no one will listen to us because we're kids." "It's not fair being a kid," says Mickey. "Everybody thinks we're making up stories." Mickey kicks a rock again. Once again, the rock goes under some lettuce. Thud. Another rabbit comes out, rubbing his head. "What on earth?" says Mickey. "How could I possibly hit the same rabbit twice in 2 days?" The rabbits turn and hop away, showing a fluffy black tail. Wait, that rabbit yesterday had a white tail. This rabbit has a black one. This is a different rabbit. Follow him! The two siblings chase the rabbit. As they run, other rabbits appear from their hiding spots in the lettuce. Soon there are hundreds of rabbits. Marnie and Mickey are no longer chasing one rabbit. They are being chased by the rabbits. Rabbits in front, rabbits behind. Run away from the rabbits, yells Marnie. How? They're everywhere! Make a quick right. Jump! Now, Marnie says. They jump to the right. The rabbits keep running right by them. The siblings hide underneath a patch of green beans. Look, Mickey says, pointing straight ahead. The rabbits are still running. The rabbits are also stealing. As they run, they grab stalks of leafy greens in their mouth. This is daylight robbery. I guess we found our thieves, Marnie said, and it's not Mom. Unless Mom is a rabbit, says Mickey. Let's reread the same page again. It's too bad we're kids. No one will believe us, Marnie says. Ahem. A loud voice echoes above them. I believe you. Old Hank is standing there. He saw the whole thing. Now do you see, Hank? Asks Marnie. I may be deaf, but I ain't blind, says Hank. I admit, I thought it was you kids who were stealing those vegetables. I've been trying to catch you in the act, but now I see the truth. It's these rabbits. We know who the real thieves are, says Mickey. We need to protect our vegetables. That's true, says Hank. The rabbits certainly are flexible. No, says Mickey and Marnie. The vegetables. Respectable? Asks Hank. The garden, the children yell at the top of their lungs. The varmints? They're not respectable. They steal. We need to build a fence, yells Mickey. Learn to dance? Asks Hank. I'm not telling you how to dance. We need to build a fence. Oh, forget it, says Marnie. Forget it is right, says Hank. Now quit dancing and let's build a fence. Tomorrow, the kids say. We've done quite enough for today. Mickey and Marnie get on their bikes and ride home. For the time being, they forgot all about the vegetable thieves and the naughty rabbits. They are flying through the air. All right, our two words are donated and plot. The first word, donated, says the vegetables are donated to food banks so people don't go hungry. We have to figure out what the word donated means. Now, a clue inside of our sentence here would be food banks. We don't normally get our food from food banks. We go to the grocery store. However, they do have food banks, and what happens at food banks is the food goes out free. So I wonder how the food banks get their food if it's given out to people for free. Have you ever donated something for free, given to someone who may not have as much as you, so you donate to them? I know at Bryan we have had canned food drives where you guys have brought in your own cans of food from your pantry and you gave them away for free. So I'm going to go with donating means giving something away for free. So I'm going to go ahead and write that down. Away for free. And again, if I'm going too fast, just hit pause. All right, now it's going to be your job to come up with sentences that include the word donate or donated or donating, whatever the context you're using it in. Sorry, my leg's falling asleep. Current, doing it right now would be the ing. Past is ed. Donate means I am doing it often. I donate often. Again, you're coming up with two sentences that have the word donate in them. And then you're coming up with a synonym, a word that means the same thing. And then an antonym, a word that means the opposite of donate. Then we're going to move on to the word plot. The sentence that has the word plot in, but instead of a plot of squash, there's only an empty hole. So now I'm thinking back to the story where they were talking about the squash. They were talking about it being in a garden. There used to be a whole bunch of squash there. Now there's just a hole. And then another way of plot would be like the the plot of the story would be like the main thing that's happening, the seriousness of it, the problem, the solution. So in this case, it's talking about a squash and there being an empty hole. So it's not talking about a problem or a solution. So we can't go with that definition. So instead of a plot of squash, there's only an empty hole. I'm going to go with the definition being a space for the squash. So a plot of land just for the squash. So a space for the squash. A space in the garden. But a plot could also be like a space where you build your house. It could be a space where you park your car. A plot where you've made an entire garden instead of just for squash. So again, a space in the garden. And then your job again is to create 2 sentences using the word plot that go with this definition. So again, I plotted the dot on the line. That doesn't really make sense. So again, I made a plot for potatoes in my garden. Or I plotted sunflower seeds in my garden. As you can see, my sunflowers in the back there. And then you are coming up with a synonym and an antonym for the word plot. Again, a synonym is a word that means the same thing. Antonym means the opposite of plot. And then, again, if you need some more time, go ahead and hit pause. But I'm going to roll right into the writing portion. We left off on this page in your writing. That is where you were coming up with your sentences. It doesn't really flow into a paragraph form with your indent and all that. So your job today is to create your rough draft in paragraph form. Again, on this page, it's just flipped. You already came up with your own paragraph title, hopefully, so you don't have to really do that. You're just making it into a rough draft form right here. And then what we're going to talk about today, though, are these symbols here, where somebody in your house or you yourself is going to go back and edit your own paper. So this is what you would come to the table, and you'd sit there, you would do your homework or read a book while I read your paper, and then we go over, does this sentence make sense? How can we change that? And I would circle out your misspelled words and underline the words that need to be capital and scribble out words that you wrote extra. So instead of me doing it, you're going to be doing it. So I hope you have your, like I said, I always like to use colors. It's more fun for me. But if you don't have colors, just a pen or a pencil, whatever you have. So you are turning your sentences into your rough draft. And then you're going to use these boxes right here to go back and double check your work. So when you're reading it, you're like, oh yeah, I need a capital letter there. What you're going to do is you're going to underline it 3 times to show you need a capital letter. A slash would be you put a capital letter and it doesn't need to be. It needs to be lowercase. You've seen me add the end marks with that exact circle with the dot in it. And same with the inserts and my squiggly lines for delete. I've not had to do switch words or letters yet. If you flip-flop your B's and D's, I normally just do that for you. So just double check and make sure your B's and D's are in the right direction. And you've seen my infamous fix your spelling circle. So if you have a word that you don't know how to spell, you should probably circle it. And then if you're using the computer, might as well Google how to spell it correctly like you do in the classroom. And then that is your writing for today. You're just doing your rough draft and editing. The next time we do our language arts lesson, you'll be doing your final copy. And again, if you want to go ahead and do that, your final copy is just very neatly written. Make sure you indent, you fix all your spelling mistakes, you have all your periods and punctuation marks, and your sentences flow and they make sense, and they all stick to that same opinion of if you think students should be able to, have smartphones or not, whatever your opinion was. And I make sure you use that writing checklist because that's how I'm going to be grading it when you return to school. And as always, if you need me for anything, Dojo Chat or Dojo Message, that Google Chat, that's, like I said, the Google Chat's the best way. I'm up to, I think, 5 or 6 kids in there now. So it's the easiest way to reach me. We can talk back and forth. I know some of you have been sending me some funny pictures. We've been doing some silly things just to stay in contact with each other because I miss you. It's not fun to do lessons from my living room alone. I miss you guys a lot. So I hope you are all well, and I hope to see you soon. Talk to you later.